Alright, we're going to give everybody a chance to get in here. Get the chat settled. Do our little opening. Get comfortable. Well, hello everyone. So it's been 2 weeks, and I actually think we're probably going to start doing this as a 2 week thing. I I had some of my life back this week, the past couple of weeks, and that was nice. It's a lot to do this, and we're happy to do this. Don't get me wrong, but it takes a lot to be here. We have questions from our students. I have charts that are already set up. We're going to go through the lecture, which is just going to review some of what the triple patterns are about and some basics about Uranian astrology. And then, of course, we're going to talk to our students. But as always, first, we are going to pray. Is the sound okay, by the way? Can you guys hear me? Are you guys able to? Okay, so the sound is good. Very, very important. Okay, so the sound is... All right, good. Okay, so it's been a crazy, crazy, crazy couple of weeks. So Goob and Nick are in town, members of the server. Some of your... So Nick showed up, by the way, with a broken ankle, with his leg in a boot, and the other knee in a cast. And while he was here, his mother fell down the stairs and broke a foot and broke one foot and then broke her ankle. She's in a wheelchair, so they're heading home in the next day or two. Um, and it's been nice to have them here. I'm not going to lie, it's been a real blessing. So they're actually probably going to be shooting through the door here in the middle of this class. But first, we're going to pray, and we're going to do some astrology, and we're going to go over Sussie's stuff, and we're going to go over Greg's stuff, and we're going to talk about Uranian astrology and triple patterns and all of that. And let me just check. Is Nice here? Oh, he seems to be sleeping. Well, that's all right. Greg, are you able to because I sent him a good morning, Cito. I sent him a message and left him a message on the server. Were you cleared so you're able to chat on the server? That might just be a Discord thing, by the way. But if not, he'll be up in a few hours. This is actually his day off, and it's 5 o'clock in the morning where he's at. So I've said to him quite a few times, it's like, listen, if you need sleep, sleep in. Don't wake up for this. It's not, not that you guys aren't worth it, but his, sleep, he needs sleep. Okay. Oh, it was only for 5 minutes. Okay. Be careful how often or how quickly you post. Even I have limits, Greg. We're all being monitored by something somewhere, I suppose. Sorry, buddy. Um, yeah, what a thing, right? All right. Okay, so let's get to the next bit of this because I think it's important. Let's get into our prayers. So I'm going to need everybody to take a nice, deep, cleansing breath. I know I certainly need one. Take a couple of them. And a nice, deep breath of unification with each other. And a nice, deep breath of unification with God. And dear God, we ask that you guide each of us in our path, that we would find clarity in Uranian astrology. Please remove from us the blocks of self-proclaimed experts and expertise, and show us the truth in the stars. Inspire each of us to seek only divine proof in this astrology. Strip us of all false beliefs and reveal only profound truth. Allow divine knowledge to burst forth into our highest vibration and awareness, and may we feel our spiritual connection with the celestial DNA in all of us more deeply, powerfully, and substantially than ever before. Please open our minds, our hearts, and our souls that we would each find enlightenment. And so it is, and we thank you, God. Amen. So a couple of weeks ago, I showed this to all of you. So this is from the ancient Kabbalah, and one of the reasons I showed this to all of you is that there were many reasons I brought David in to work with me, and I needed David's expertise, his fluency in Arabic and in Hebrew, his fluency in German also, but above all, David has a divinity degree from Yale, and everywhere Vite turned, he would find some tried and true compass set on due north. It was always going to be math or the Kabbalah or every single divination dating all the way back to and I said this a couple of weeks ago, to Abu Mashar al-Baq. This was the gentleman who was the famous astrologer from the Baghdad court. He was a Persian astrologer. He was the inventor and introduced Arabic parts. So he was this individual who said, well, it's not like one planet or two planets. It needs to be sort of a combination or a formula. Now, I had written this blog on Arabic parts, and there wasn't much to say because with Arabic parts and Uranian astrology, even though we know that the root went back there, it's obvious to see that this is where Vite went. Arabic parts, with the exception of very, very few formulas, all begin with the ascendant. And that's problematic because Uranian astrology is very specific. But Vite was, you know, we're talking about a man who was educated, who was cultured, who was obviously very curious. And I've said this before, how frustrating it must have been for him to experience the complete letdown of accuracy in astrology, just the same way it is for any of us. If something happens and we can't find it in our charts, it's a disappointment. And if something does happen and we didn't see it, also a disappointment. Most of us know that we cannot find the seed we need to grow the fruit. And we know this. Vite must have had a profound revelation that the concept was good, astrology had some value to it, but that it had been poorly executed. And we can surmise this as being due to those times and the information and the access he had. And in many ways, our civilization is much more modern now, but their civilization was quite modern and innovative at the time. Don't forget, they were on the forefront of a lot of science and a lot of innovation prior to Hitler taking over. So, I don't know if any of you have seen this. There are a few different versions of this, but this does date back to the Kabbalah. And the thing about the Kabbalah, and also, there were books stripped from the Bible, is that they're being interpreted, which is derivative. So while the language is original, the deep study of the language is for the young men who go to yeshiva, who go to Hebrew school, who practice, that this becomes their life, their study. Now, Vite would have been looking in every direction of repetition. So I've come to witness astrology community and astrologers take incredible liberties with science, and they don't really understand things sometimes. And they've taken a lot of poetic liberty and license with this as well. If you see this, there are several versions of it. Some of them place Uranus right here. Some of them place Uranus up here and Pluto here. Look at this down here. This is the part of fortune, which is an Arabic formula, so it's not a planet. It is a formula. And this, by the way, may have been something that inspired Vite. We don't know. But astrology is deeply rooted in the ancient mysticism of the Kabbalah, and I don't feel that this information is understood by those that are not astrologers any more than those that don't read Hebrew can understand the Hebrew here. So, this is where I think that there's been a problem with lifting the wisdom from the Kabbalah of astrology out of there. Should you see it, don't believe it's automatically true. The jury's still out on it. Just letting you know that's the situation. Okay, I believe that he used this based on certain things that I've seen in his writing and what I see in the planetary pictures, what I know from the many Jewish people I grew up around and I spent time around, and the many Passovers and Seders and New Year's and bar mitzvahs and bat mitzvahs. I think that I understand in some ways where the problem happened. I grew up in a city that in flux with language issues. Miami was taken over in the 80s, and there was all this language and differences, and there was Hebrew and Yiddish and German and Spanish and English. This was Miami Beach, honestly. In the very early 80s, it was just this mix. So there were a lot of schools. Yeah, and Spanglish, not to forget Spanglish. Uranus isn't even on this chart. I've seen it in this. This is simply one of the ones that I use. There are many versions of this. Search the internet for it. Look at the internet. You'll see like a bunch of them. Don't believe them. The point, there is some truth in this tree of life, but this tree of life has not been perfected. And I believe that when Vite looked at this and worked in this, remember, Yiddish and German are very, very similar. German and Hebrew are not. So it's not beyond the realm of possibility that he knew someone who translated this for him. as far as the Hebrew goes. There are several different versions of this. Go look them up. When you look them up, be aware that when you see astrologers posting them and rambling on about them, none of this has been confirmed by anyone with a divinity degree who's fluent in Hebrew, by the way. This is a lot of poetic license of astrologers. On to the next thing. Witt brought theory to the test. And this is what made the difference. So derivative or reductive information is like the telephone game, and that's why everyone outside of the actual circle that knew Witte received a muddied version of his work. Witte worked methodically to prove out the science of astrology. He was precise and specific, just as the German language was at the time. Uranian astrology has to apply the natural laws of science. It's one of the rules. The as above, so below axiom has to be proven in every person's chart. In a little while, we're about to prove death in Greg's chart and a very personal death in Sussie's chart. But in order for this to be true, we would have to be able to prove the death of each and every individual in every chart when people lose people. And I believe that we can, but you have to be skilled and know what you're doing. That's why I'm here. We cannot have events in the charts of some people and nothing in the charts of others. That's not science. That's not astrology. I don't know what it is. But it's definitely not what I'm interested in doing, and it's not why we're here. Every person must have their life on Earth revealed and repeated in the stars. That's what makes the as above, so below axiom true. It cannot and must not be accepted without proof. For this reason, what happens to every person born on the same day at the same time is not the same. And we've gone over this. We've talked about that. Unless you're twins and you go home to different parents with different levels of education, life experience, financial levels, manner of speech, religious, atheist people born on the same day at the same time. Are you kidding me? Do you know the differences that environment has? For example, if all of you came from very, very wealthy parents, you'd all be given private horseback riding lessons and skating and singing and music and French and language and trips to Europe. The life of someone who is wealthy is very different than the life of someone who is working. The life of children who go to educated households are different than the life of children who were brought up in blue-collar households. These are different experiences, different accesses, different culture. For each soul and chart, which planets are being activated by all of the external forces of nature that influence every person is important. Where are the parents' planets in connection with theirs? We're going to go over deaths. Where were the death planets and the relationships of the people who passed away? How are souls bonded with each other? Are they bonded by love? Are they bonded by responsibility, by family ties, by money, by karma? What chart markers activate events in people's lives? And again, if we're to be astrologers and we're to be respected, we have to begin to establish proof somewhere. And not simply within the astrology community. The astrology community is entirely too happy to believe a bunch of bullshit. I've said this repeatedly in every class. I can't say it enough. It's different from every form of astrology. It's not practiced like other forms of astrology. It's not practiced like anything I've ever seen. And it cannot be mixed with other astrology because then it doesn't work. The story of every soul and their history is not so deeply embedded in every half sum and axis point in every event of every chart. It, it's there. If you read your definitions, you're going to realize you don't have to search that deeply. You have to apply a lot of common sense and say, oh, this is how it works. Like a Rubik's Cube. From before the cradle and beyond the grave, like Sion's heart in your chart, is going to go on. We've proven that, and we can continue to prove that. Using the same principles and by familiarizing ourselves with the natal chart, which is why we have you delineate the natal chart, we are able to learn the tendencies and the inclinations of the native based on the chart markers that raise personality traits or components to the obvious surface of the life for everyone that we see in the native's life. So everything you see, those chart markers, when people come into your life, they're going to have similar chart markers. They're activating that. Everything in Uranian astrology teaches us that in relationships and in events, everything has to be repeated. So when you're looking at and when you learn your natal chart, every time you compare that chart to another event, to anything that's happening out in the world, I promise you're going to see the similar markers. For people who come into your life, they're going to have similar markers that are activating those points in your life at that point. That's how it works. How do we determine which person just blasts music in their basements and which ones do it live on stage at the Coliseum? It's in the natal chart, guys. And you will see that different people activate different things in your life, like bands working together, companies that come out of nowhere and become behemoths. This is how it happens. It's the repetition of markers activating each other. How do we find out? We look at the nature of the past life events. That's why I have you, all of you, working on your past life events. What happened? How can you prove anything in the future if you haven't been able to do a run-through in your chart and prove absolutely everything that happened to you in the past? How do you determine which way it's going to go? You have to look at the nature of the past life events and what were going on. When we talk about past life events, what if you're an actor and you went out for a part and you're going on one call after another, and you're not getting the parts. It's like, well, maybe I'm not meant to get the part. No. A past failure can indicate future success. It shows you in the half sum, the yin and the yang, the positive and the negative. We're reading energy. This is why you see such contradictory interpretations, too, by the way. When the native is demonstrating at the most positive or the highest vibrational level, it's safe to predict the positive outcome. And when the native is operating at the worst vibration, it's possible to predict and be accurate about a negative outcome. You have to be able to discern and to learn the difference between a planet versus a half sum lining up. I see a lot of you making the mistake where you're reading a singular planet and you're not reading the half sum. You always want to know all of the singular planets are there, because whenever singular planets line up, that's going to trigger that particular thing or event outside of the rule book. So if you have half sums and you see 3 planets lining up on a half sum, those 3 planets that lined up on that half sum, that's going to trigger that half sum, providing that half sum lines up natally directed and in transit. Or maybe you see 2 different half sums lining up. Then you have to read the half sums together. Working on your past life events and learning about the events that have already occurred and going through them over and over and over and over and over again is going to help you learn this astrology. We need to be clear, not confused, otherwise we're going to mislead people in need of counsel, and this can be very tricky. You want to take money from people to give them advice for astrology? You have a responsibility to be good and accurate and right. Stop trying to predict the future. I see a lot of you doing that. In keeping with scientific theory, whatever good you've done towards your goal is happening even at the worst times in your life. Whatever bad, whatever is manifesting in your life, is the direction and creation of your soul history and your current mental and spiritual energy. That is literally what's happening. When we consider that our every thought has the power to manifest into something tangible in our lives, then we realize why and how we can have one half sum with such diametrically opposed outcomes or interpretations. In this way, our soul has to learn the greatest enemy is not the external, but it's always in our own minds, in our own thoughts, in our own words, and in our own deeds. Every task is to find all of the planetary energy in half sums and single planets that agree with formulas and that also agree with our natal chart, or in other words, the promise and the story of our souls. They're going to show the big events in our life. Isn't that what big events are? They're supposed to be seen. If you get married, if you have a baby, if you have a death, if you move, all of these should be discernible in a chart. But also the evolution of your soul is there. And our soul, having a fully immersed experience of self and others, is legible inside the chart. Quantum superposition says that everything is happening now. Every single thing you're doing and everything that you do towards every goal, they believe is happening in some other dimension. So the worst outcome of something is going on somewhere, and the very best outcome is of something. What you're experiencing is the outcome of your mental capacity, understanding, and your spiritual evolution. That's what's happening for you. And stop believing that spiritual evolution and all of this, that it's about wealth. It's not. It is very, very important to understand that wealth is a fraud. Because if you take somebody's money away, they're lost. The evolution of a soul is that they can have everything or nothing and remain the same person with the same energy. So we're going to talk about where I believe there may have been some problems. I know that I've explained to everyone that natal directed and transiting half sums have to be connected by access points and event energy. But it's been my experience in working with people that you guys try to play professional a lot sooner than you should. So the things that we're going to be going over are two deaths, two family deaths. I absolutely have to take this. I'm sorry, but I have to take this. I am so sorry. I have something going on, and my son is in the hospital, and he's calling me. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry about the distraction. I'm sorry about making you wait, but that was unavoidable. All right. So these were deaths. Now, I know that everybody came and they did what they wanted to do. Yes, I hope it'll be okay too. So I'm sorry about that. Anyway, everyone started, and you guys start, and you start acting, honestly, when you start doing your chart, you start right away acting like you're a professional astrologer and you don't need the book. And I can tell by your work because you didn't go through the 99 deaths, you didn't go through the grief, you didn't go through the sorrow, you didn't go through the mourning, and you didn't go through the funerals. Did you? You all thought this is what it is. I tell each and every one of you what happened. Be specific. What happened? How many times have I said that? Okay? All right. Um, so one of the things that I know, and by the way, I understand this. Don't think that I don't understand this. I completely understand this. It's overwhelming. Now we're going to hop into the app, and we're going to go over some of the things that you did. But I'm going to also hop into the classroom because I want to talk to Susie and I want to talk to Greg. So get your headsets on, hop into the classroom to voice, and I'll be in there in just a minute. Oh, Nice is here. Hi, Nice.
Hi. Yeah.
You could have been talking while I
Was a bit
was
late.
while I was answering the phone. I didn't know you were here. Let's hop over and go talk to our students here.
Okay.
All right, great. Hi, Sussy.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Okay, so I want to go over a couple of things where we had problem. But first, let me go into this. For anyone who's signing up for the app,
I have
yes, just this real quick. For anyone who's new and they're
I have
signing up,
you I hear you twice.
pardon? Yes, because you have to mute your YouTube.
Yes, I just did.
Okay, now you should
Okay.
only, yeah, now you'll hear us once. Yes. Uh, um, all right. Uh, I'm sorry, I got a little distracted there. Okay, let's get back to this. The first thing is, if you're new and you're signing up for the app, you have to confirm your email. Check your promotional file, check your spam file, check your trash file. Until you confirm your email, you won't be able to use the app. Also, once you've used the app or whether you're joined at the app, over here on our resources section, this is going to take you to the school website. It's going to take you to the Alfred Vitte library with all of Alfred Vitte's papers, by the way. We are the only place on the internet in English that has published all of his papers and some of his files. We're working on translations. Okay, so that's where you go when you get to My Astro World. If you become a member here, all you have to do is log in here for the My Astro World app, for the Uranian app. There you go. But you have to confirm your email. If you don't confirm your email, it's not going to allow you to use the app. All right, now let's do Sussy's. So, Sussy, this was your brother, and you did Saturn Hades. Okay?
Yes.
Okay, so Saturn
Can't
Hades,
see it.
right. So, did you go through the 99 death formulas?
Oh yes, I went through a lot. But he actually died of a heart attack. His heart
Okay, no,
stopped.
no, 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 no. Stop. Right there.
Mm.
He died. That's what happened.
Yeah.
That he died of a heart attack, that would be in his chart. Okay?
Yes.
What's in
Yes.
your chart, what you would have to look for in your chart, were you close?
Yes. Kind of. Yes.
Okay, I was very close to my brother. When I
Yeah.
look at and I just lost my sister a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
So I've lost two sisters and a brother already. If you
Okay.
weigh if you weigh like the death of my you look at the charts and you weigh the death of my brother and the death of my sisters, you see in the chart with the death of my brother that there is the loss of a family member, the loss of a loved one, profound loss,
Yes.
there's grief, there's everything but a funeral because I didn't go to a funeral. There's the uh eulogy. So there were all of these elements of my brother's death that were very true. You're looking in the wrong way. Your approach
Okay.
is wrong. You have to begin with the relationship you had to your brother. So this is
Mhm.
death of a family member. This is news of a death, right? Did you get a call?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Suddenly.
Yes. So
Unexpected. Yeah.
okay. So unexpected call. Did you look at that?
Mm. Yes, I tried to.
You
Yeah,
try you.
yeah.
Mm.
8 point
I don't.
something.
I'm
I
sorry.
don't
What?
recall what. I don't recall what I found out, but I tried to.
Okay. Here. All right. Because well, this is an okay as far as a triple pattern. It does work because these. Can you see that these are equidistant of each other? But the axis
Yeah.
point, yeah. But the axis point isn't right because the axis point comes here. So there's something hidden here. Look, see.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
it's not hidden in you. It's a surprise to you. This is your brother's death. So what we're looking at in your chart is your brother. See, we're looking for a death. Now, here, let's come back here. Um, this was, I believe, the moon Saturn. All right. So this was interesting to me. The moon, and I've said to everyone, stay away from the moon, stay away from the meridian, stay away from
Yeah.
the ascendant for formulas.
Mm-hmm.
Because the moon moves almost 13 degrees a day. So when you're trying to find a formula, you don't want to use a fast moving planet or point. Do you understand?
Yeah.
You want to use the slower moving planets. Do you see this right here? Saturn and Mitos
Yeah.
that you have right here?
That's Mitos.
Okay.
Yes.
Hold on 1 second. So the thing about losing a brother, and you received a call. So that's the thing we should have been
Yes,
looking for.
but Anna, I can see that my solar arc is 62 degrees. It happened when I was about 25 years old.
Well, hold on. Let me fix this then. Hold on 1 second, all right?
Yeah.
What date did you give us?
He died 25 in September 25th, 1986.
What time did you get this call?
I received a phone call at 8 o'clock in the morning, 8 a.m.
Okay, so we have to fix the other one. This must have just taken the dates. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Wait. There's another one here that I have up for you. Mercury retrograde, honey. Mercury retrograde. Oh nine. Oh nine 25 1986. Let me. Okay, so do you want to hear while I'm doing this a real quick Mercury retrograde story? There's six cars that are in the shop. Goob drove down here in a brand new car. He just got his car out of the shop. His brand new car out of the shop for the fourth time. He just got it out yesterday. Everyone's car is in the shop. Everybody got. I have a mechanic that I know. He's working on so many cars right now. He says to me, I'll get to it when I can. and he says, I don't know what's going on. I'm telling my mechanic. He says, I don't know what's happening. Everybody's car is breaking, and I'm just looking at him, and I said, so
You have to explain the word
no,
astrology.
I said to him, so I'm going to say Mercury retrograde. He says, I know you're going to say some astrology. That's what I know.
Yeah.
So there it is.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. Oh, there it is. There it is. So hold on 1 second, please.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Oh, wow. Okay, let me fix this. So 8 a.m. Let's get that. All right. Now let's go back. Oh, sorry. Okay. So This one right here is pretty good. See, look, this is a degree.
Uh-huh.
This was Saturn Hades. Now, here's the thing about Saturn Hades that I don't like about this. So I'm going to take this off. You said he died of a heart attack, right?
Yes, he actually had a fever. He had a flu, and
Uh-huh.
he died of pericarditis, infection around the heart.
Right, around the heart. Okay. So this is what I'd like you to do because you sent his data, but you didn't give his place of birth.
Mm.
Okay? If you look in the thing, I didn't see a place of birth. And guys, take it easy with running that stuff. Like post the thing, post the data. I have a lot going on. If you guys make it difficult for me, I'm not going to be able to get to you and I'm not going to be able to help you out. So make it as easy for me as possible. I saw his chart. I wanted to go and do his chart, but I didn't have his data. And as you see, my phone's ringing. I have a lot going on right now. I couldn't even message you to say, hey, when did your brother? And I've also said, as a matter of principle, if you guys don't, we're all here. We know what it takes to put in the app. We know what the app needs. When you want somebody to look at your chart, put up what everybody needs so that they can copy it and paste it right into the app. Because we all work with the app. We all know that. Now, I like this one, but let me tell you what I want you to do, and I want you to go back to your brother's chart, then stay away from his chart. But if you go to your brother's chart, if your brother died of a heart attack, more than likely he's going to have a triple pattern of Sun Uranus. And since you said that it's because of of an infection, you need to look up an infection and find that the infection, he'll have a triple pattern of an infection lining up with
Yeah.
that Sun Uranus. Okay?
Okay.
So that's a
Yes.
separate, right, that's a separate issue. And do you understand that that's more specific and to him? For you, this is
It's a loss.
bad
Yeah.
news.
Mm.
This is what's happening to you at 8 o'clock in the morning on this. First of all, before you get the phone call, everything's fine. Life is
Mm.
great. You pick up that phone, you don't realize that at that moment, your life is about to change.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay? So that's the first
Yes.
thing we're
Okay.
looking at. So I want you to notice something that's
Mm.
already in your chart. Mercury, Sun, and Mars. So communications about men. This is a
Communication
yeah,
about.
men, Sun Mars. Sun Mars is definitely a man. The
Okay.
husband, the father, the leader, the brother, the soldier. Okay?
Mm.
Sun Mars
Yeah.
always represents a man. In a woman's chart, wherever Sun Mars is, it represents a man. So,
Yes.
communications about a man, right? It's already in the chart.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what
Yes.
communication did you have? You had a communication. Already in your natal chart, we see Sun, Uranus within a degree. See that? How they equal each other?
Uranus.
There's Uranus right down
Yes.
there.
Oh yes. 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 I see it. Yes.
Okay. When I ask you guys to go do your charts and look at a triple pattern and to go back and to keep looking at your charts, everything, the reason I make all of you suffer and torment you by making you do your natal delineation is because
Yes.
everything you're ever going to need to know about everything that's ever going to happen to you is going to be in your natal chart in some kind of way. There's a marker. If it's going to make an impact on you in your life, which I'm sure losing your brother made an impact on you on your life, it's
Yes.
all,
Certainly. Yeah.
yeah, it's coded in your chart.
Yes.
And the question is, are you reading it? Are you paying attention?
Yeah.
So, right. So even look here and here. So here we're even seeing the repetition, which if you were listening to the lecture at the beginning, I said, look, the markers are going to cross when events happen. The things that happen are going to cross
Yeah.
over in your chart. So look,
Yes.
that
I
year,
can see.
this was happening. I know you weren't even paying attention to that. And even more so, if we come like this, and we
Yes.
do this, we see that this Sun Uranus goes right to this Saturn Admetos, which is a death, and Node is a personal relationship.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so that's already sitting in your chart.
Okay.
All right, that was
Interesting. Yes. Yes.
already sitting there. So,
Mm.
let's try, not that you had a heart attack that day, but that somebody did. So let's
Mm.
try that. And that works out very nicely, doesn't it?
Okay.
See?
Yes.
But you also, I want you to go back to your chart. You got messages of death. There was a loss. There were funerals. And I want you to go through your natal. Just do a quick read through. You know, you all have it on a digital copy, right? Did you make a PDF of it? Go through there.
I have printed it all out.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, I have like 20 copies of mine. Sweetheart, you're not making any mistakes there now. 20, 30, 40 of them. I may need to warn you, you may need your own computer just for your charts. Okay. It happens. It's like if astrology, you ever see? No, you probably don't because of where you are. You're in the Netherlands.
No, I'm
They
in Denmark.
Oh, you're in Denmark. Okay, so wait a minute.
Yeah.
Well, no, you have access to some English TV plus that the YouTube and everything. They have this
All
TV
right.
show. I don't watch it, but I see like all the ads for it and I see different snippets of it and it's called Hoarders. Where people just like hoard, they just tons of things in their home. So if hoarding astrology, like astrology charts, like we yes, we could very very quickly easily end up burying ourselves in these places. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Mm. This is very interesting. But then this is a triple pattern, and I have been so confused about this triple pattern because I
If
thought
they
that I would have to see um, admeters on all three lines.
Well, you no no no. Here, you do need to represent it, but you're looking remember something, and I've said this to everybody. What happened? What happened to you is specific to you. Like I said,
Mm-hmm.
the instance of a death. There are many, many. I promise you, if you go through this chart this day, there are many, many triple patterns in this chart on this day that
Okay.
you will be able to collect this story. But
Mm-hmm.
begin at the beginning, Sussy.
Yes.
And at the
Yes.
beginning is I was minding my own business, sitting in my kitchen, having my tea, looking out over the grass or the snow. Wait, it was in September. Okay, you got looking looking
Yeah.
looking at the fall taking place, contemplating the winter coming. My phone rang and my life changed.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Right?
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah,
Exactly. Totally shocked. Yeah.
yeah. So I would like for you to go back because in here, in your chart on that day, such a profound event, it's more than just showing you that this was there and you can take this and match this with your brother. Okay?
Mm.
It's more than that. You have to
Mm.
do that really deep personal and moral inventory. And that deep
Yeah.
personal and moral inventory was, oh, I remember I was just really concerned for my parents.
Mm.
Like, I didn't, or I spent the next 2 days cooking.
Mm.
Do you understand what I'm saying? There are,
No, not quite.
yeah, the course of events of that
Yeah.
day. You
Yes.
have to review that and say, look, in this chart, the course of events of that day and the following days are in my chart. I just have to sit and
Yeah.
really remember what happened. What was I doing?
Yeah.
What was really going on? Was I tending to my parents? Yes, my brother died, but there were other things. Things don't happen in a vacuum. Okay?
Mm. Yeah. I feel like I remember everything that day very clearly.
Right. So
Um,
look,
but mm,
see this heart attack thing? It goes right here.
sorry.
So there's a heart attack here. And so it's
Oh yeah.
communication right there, to meridian. So this is personal to you. And this is a
Yeah.
node. Yeah. But this right here,
Yeah.
um, this, sorry about that. This right here, okay, is telling you that this was communication just in the basic. Forget the rules for planetary pictures. Communication about a man and a heart attack. Because it's Sun, it's Sun Uranus. It's Sun Uranus. Did you get it from the authorities? Did your parents call you, or
No,
someone else
no,
called you?
it was my father. My father called me.
Your father. So there's the Chronos. Sun Mars is also the father.
Yeah.
That's why you have to go through the beginner's guide, and I've said this to everybody. The first thing you want to memorize is the definitions of the planets as per the Uranian Astrology beginner's guide. Memorize those definitions. Once you memorize those definitions, you're well on your way to understanding the language. There are other triple patterns here. Okay? You somewhere here you should have news of a death or bad news or a phone call because it came as a phone call. So there's some call. There has to be triple patterns for that. There has to be when we're looking for triple patterns, we have to always remember begin with the chart. Okay?
Yes, 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 yes. Yes,
Okay?
I understand.
Is this more clear now?
Yes, it is. It is, and
Okay.
it's given me a lot to think about.
Yes,
Thank you.
always start with what happened. And look how this lined up, by the way.
Mm.
Look look how even this from here to here, where that energy, if you were to draw a line straight across,
Yes. Mm.
what you're going to what I'm hoping all of you are going to learn is just a different way of simply looking at these charts. If you look at them differently, believe me, you will see a lot more than what you're seeing.
Mm.
Okay, the
Yes.
story of your brother's death is very deeply embedded in there, but it's also superficially there. You can see it, it's pretty obvious. There's a lot of indicators here.
Exactly.
Stay
Yeah.
with that and move on to the next one and keep working with that. But also, go look at the synastry with you and your brother,
Yes.
and you're going to see that somewhere this is where these how and why this happened and where
Mm.
those planets were activated in his chart and in yours. Okay?
Yes.
All
Yes.
right, I'm gonna
I will
go.
do that.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
do the one more thing here,
Yeah.
which was the other. Sorry, this was the Moon Saturn, I believe. No, Saturn and Metis. Moon Saturn. Okay. So obviously your mother would have been very sad,
She was
devastated. I can imagine.
absolutely,
Okay. This
totally.
yes, this is an active
Yeah.
triple pattern.
Yeah.
I'm sure you were devastated, very sad. But this is a
Yeah.
triple pattern because see the transit is within a degree of this. They're sharing an axis point. So this triple
Yes.
pattern was accurate. All right? But notice where it landed. They won't all land on the same spot, but notice where it landed in your chart. You're sad,
Yes.
your mother's sad. Why is everybody sad? Because you just got news that
Yes.
somebody died of a heart attack.
Yeah.
That a man just died of a heart attack. And when we look at what it was, remember the triple pattern, right?
Yeah. Mm.
Hold on.
Amazing.
remember where the triple pattern is. Okay, I'll bet you this is a triple pattern too that day.
Yes, yes, yes.
That would have to be a triple pattern because it was your brother.
Yes. So when you
Yeah,
do
look.
it and explain it, it seems very clear, but it's difficult for me to to make it the same way.
Well, the thing is first of all, I'm doing this for 40 years.
You're 40, you're 40 years ahead of me.
Okay. Give yourself give your give yourself a little break there, okay, kiddo?
I don't think I can manage it this lifetime.
You will. No, you actually will because it took me 40 years and I had to figure out the astrology. That I had the worst. Everybody, all the astrology that's out there is no good. So look at this. Here's the sun. Here's the solar arc and here's the natal. All right.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. For
Mm.
the node. We're trying to line the node up. Okay, now it should have lined up in a triple pattern, but what would prevent it from lining up in an exact triple pattern? Well,
Mhm.
it's node Venus here, but the node is landing right where it needs to be, right here on the transit, because it's really fulfilling the story. The communication of the man,
Yes.
right, okay,
Yeah.
with the heart
Yeah.
attack. So the node is landing right, it's landing in the right place, but
Yes.
let's see what else we got here. There's the family member. There's the change. By the way, your Sun Uranus natal, the natal,
Yes.
the fact that that indicates that you should also check, like in your chart, your health, your dad's health, your mom's health, because
Yes.
yeah, oh yeah, check, make sure, say, hey, listen, what's our heart health like? Check everybody.
Anna, I'm just not clear why this is a triple pattern because
This isn't. I didn't say it
okay,
was.
okay,
I never said
okay.
it
I just
was.
want to make sure.
I
Okay,
said it
just want
should.
to make
I
sure.
said it should line up, but it doesn't. But the one thing that does line up is the node is sitting right where it needs to be that day
Yes.
as a transit. So the node is sitting on the triple pattern that matters. The
Matters.
transiting
Yeah.
node, yeah, the transiting node is sitting on the triple pattern that matters.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, she has, see this node to the Saturn at Mitos and Moon. Do you see that, Greg?
Yes.
Greg.
Yeah, okay.
Mm.
I'm seeing that. Like you said, the node. Oh, you're talking about in the natal chart that it.
Yeah. Oh, right there. So usually, if you look at a lot of people's charts, they don't have a standout of node Saturn and Mitos Moon. When you see configurations such as this, and look what it is, Venus Pluto, to be a change with something she loves, or a change. This is an individual, a change in a relationship with someone she loves. What would change it? A death. But it would change her family, the family unit. So remember, node is not just one person and one relationship. Node are your personal and your intimate relationships. So when you think of the node, you're also thinking of, oh, this is my family. The node is my parents, my brother, my partner. Do you understand that? The node is not, in Uranian astrology, the node is not what Western astrologers believe. In Uranian astrology, the node is your relationships. So it's singular and plural
Yes.
because it's your intimate and personal relationships. So this already tells her that in the course of her lifetime, there will be a death, an intimate, and you're like, oh, well, everyone will experience it. No,
Yeah.
Not everybody has a death so young. Not everybody has the death of a sibling when they're young. Yeah, you expect to lose your brothers or your sisters maybe when you're older, not when you're young.
Mm.
Okay?
Yes. Thank
Okay.
you very much. Thank you so much, Anna.
Yeah, listen,
Really appreciate it.
I'm gonna tell you during the day, you guys need to be working more openly in the server, openly,
Yes.
and not
Yes.
posting your
Yes.
questions. But if you're working and we see you working in there, we will hop in there. Okay?
Yes.
Working together consists of, hey, let's do deaths today, which means all of you who have had a relationship or a death should be gathering and say, okay, let's do deaths, let's do meetings, let's do marriages, let's do relationships, let's do failed relationships. Let's compare. Because in comparing these things, you're going to learn a lot more and we can help you more. This
Yes.
this private doing it all by yourself, it's going to take forever.
Yes.
Okay?
But I feel quite lonely there because I can't see anybody else.
Well, you all have to leave messages. The server's there. Just leave a message to Uranian students. It's like,
Okay.
"Hey, I'll be
Yes.
available. These are my hours," or "I'm
Yes.
around." Just hang out on the
Yes.
server and be like, "Hey guys, if anybody shows up and wants to do some astrology, I'm around. I'm working on my computer. I'm here. I'm around. Let me know. Let me know."
I just I just have to learn to use Discord. I can hear.
Yeah, listen,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I totally get you there, but Discord, and we do have to admit it, Discord provides us a it's supposed to be a safe space and place where all of us
Yes.
can openly work on
Exactly.
our,
Yes.
work on our stuff. Which brings me to another point. If you guys aren't here openly working on this, you don't need to be here.
Mm.
Like you can be anywhere, and I don't need you on the server. And frankly, don't take it personal, but I don't want you on the server. If you're not here to work on the astrology openly, I don't want you here. I don't need you here. You're counterproductive to my goal, which is to prove Uranian astrology, drag it out of the dark, bring it out into the open. So,
Exactly.
yeah, listen, you can go and do whatever you want to do elsewhere. But if you're going to be
Yes.
here, you need to be open, you need to be working, and you need to be part of what it is we're trying to do. Because the thing that we're trying to do is truly trying to move astrology not only out of the dark ages, but I'm trying to
Exactly.
help you guys, yeah, get you paid. People
Yes.
are sick. Let me say,
Okay.
I was an end user for years. I paid for a lot of astrology. I will not
Yes.
pay for a reading. I won't pay for a reading now. No, hell no. It's like, no, no, no. Show me what you got. You want my money? You better show me something.
Yes. Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sick of that. And I'm here showing all of you so that none of you goes through what I went through, or
Yeah.
what I know a
I
lot of other
appreciate it
people.
really.
Yeah,
I
this
have
is
also.
yeah, we've all been through it. We've all been through it.
Okay. Yes. Yes. Certainly. Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you very much,
Thank you
Susie,
for.
and I'm going to let you go because I
Thank.
know it's so late where you are. Angels on.
I'll keep on an hour more. I think. Thank you.
Be well, my dear.
Good night.
Ciao, ciao.
Yes.
All
You
right,
too. Yeah. Yeah.
Greg,
Bye.
it's time for your execution. Have you said your prayers?
I have.
All right, listen. So this was your mom's death. Is this the same chart?
I'm not 100. I'm sure it is. If that's what
Oh
if
no.
I'm
What do you
thinking,
mean you're
I don't
sure?
think.
Whoa! You have an app. Put it up. You're here doing the work. Well, what the hell?
Give me a sec. Um, uh, I was okay. All right.
Hey, I
Let's
don't
see.
even want to hear it. Let me tell you something. If I were to write what was going on here in the past 5 days, none of you would believe I'm even here doing this class. I shouldn't. The fact that I even managed to pull this off is a miracle. Ask Goob and Nick when they get back to it. Oh my God, it's been a crazy couple of weeks. But I showed up.
Thank you.
Regrets I've had a few, but then again, too few to mention. Okay. I did what I had to do. Nice. How are you? I haven't spoken to you in like 2 weeks.
Yeah,
You
we're
sound.
both we both been busy. Yeah, I'm doing great. Yeah, I hope everything is yeah working out for you as well.
We're gonna find out. We'll find out in the
Right,
next hour or so. We're about to find out.
right.
So, yep. Uh, the boys are on their way down.
Yes, that is. Well, I'll say, wait. Yeah, no. Okay, the ascendant's a little different. Your time is probably the time of my mother's. No, no, no. I'm sorry. Well, yeah, I have the time of the death is 5:40. It
Hold on a
looks like
second.
you're.
Hold on a second. Just hold on a second. I have 5:40 p.m. March
Okay,
twenty
fine.
second, 1995.
Yeah, okay, that's what I. For some reason, my ascendant in midheaven on the transit chart are different than what it appears for you.
Where's your ascendant in transit? Where's your
My
meridian
okay,
ascendant?
so my ascendant and my transit are to the right of Chronos in the transit chart, and for you, they're to the left.
Did you gave me a New York?
No, no, Canton, Ohio.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. You gave me a New York address for where this happened.
Oh, oh, I'm sorry. That's where I was in New York. You're right. I was in New York. It's because it was because of me. You're right. I put in Canton where she died. Should I put in New York? What should I
Yes,
do?
because it's your chart.
Okay, no, then you're right. You're right. I made a mistake when I put it
Okay,
in on
so
the
fix
fly.
it. So can you
Okay,
fix it?
I'm fixing it. I'm
Yeah.
fixing it. Yeah. Okay.
All
Yeah,
right.
that's why. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. No problem. I listen. I've
Okay.
made bigger
Yeah.
mis-
Now we're on the same
I've
page.
made big.
That's the one.
I've made bigger mistakes than that. Okay. That's another reason why I said to Nice we need an app because going back and forth between charts that's guaranteed to at some point there's going to be a mistake. Okay. So what was your I could not find it because there were so many different things in that class thing. What was the triple pattern that you would use for
Okay,
your
I didn't
mother's
post
death?
that, but I have several of them. I have Aries and Medos. I have Aries Saturn.
Okay.
This was before I was doing this before. You said don't use the ascendant, but I have ascendant Saturn and ascendant Uranus,
Yeah, no, no,
and
no, 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 no. Yeah, stop.
okay,
One thing, one at a time. Aries, what now?
Aries and Medos. Just want to let you know, all I see is my Astro World. I don't see the app on my screen right
Right.
now.
Yeah. Sorry. No. I mean, it's a death on this earth, but no. All right. What else did you
Okay,
use? I mean,
okay.
it's a
So,
death. It shows as a triple pattern, but no.
well, I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
needed that. The morning is in there equals Mercury. I can't remember off the top of my head. Let me take a look here. If Mercury is
Not
also
if
the
Mercury. No, no, no. What were the half sums you used to prove your mother's death?
okay. It was just like I told you, Aries and Medos.
That's it.
Okay, so the equal nonsense doesn't count.
What do you mean the equal nonsense doesn't count?
Because if okay, 'cause what you have in the thing here, if you take a look at Aries and Metos that you have on the screen right now,
So it's death of the
Mercury's
mother to
morning
the no to the moon is death of the mother. Aries
or
and me
Moon is
to
death of the mother and Mercury is death of the morning. I can't remember what I was thinking because I have a whole my whatever my nonsense is all over the place. But it's a little from the moon, so it wouldn't count.
okay. Hold on a second. Is this when she actually died? Is this her time of death? Is this her time of death?
40? Yeah.
Okay. Is this when you heard
At
about
least
it?
from the death certificate. I wasn't there. I was in New York, um,
Oh my
yeah,
God.
that was
Okay. Is this when you heard about it?
no. That's the death certificate report.
Oh my God. When? How did you hear about the death of your mother?
To be honest with you, I don't remember. I don't remember if I called or they called or I got an email. I doubt she was sick for a long time, so I knew that it was coming. But I honestly don't recall. I mean, whatever. I was kind of in whatever. It was not unexpected, but it kind of hit me at a weird place. So I don't remember. Honestly, I just don't remember. That time that I offered was the time of the death certificate, not the time.
Okay. Yeah. So
I don't.
likely, yeah. All right. You're going to have to come back and redo this. And I'll tell you how you
Okay.
redo this. All right. You
Okay.
redo this based on the event for what it is. So it's the death of the mother. It's like, okay, uh, this is the death of a family member. Did you Were you mourning the loss of your mother? Did you love your mother? Were you estranged from your mother? Was this um, you know, was this a painful loss, or was this, oh great, this is whipped cream on this shit sandwich I'm eating right now? Okay, no, for
No,
real, like,
no, it was a painful loss. It was a
yeah,
painful
yeah.
loss.
So as a painful loss, very much like Sussy, as a painful loss, if you go through your chart, you should expect to find indications of mourning. What about depression?
Yeah, yeah. I think there was there was sure for
Yeah,
sure. But I want to be clear. My mother was in a very ugly state of demise
that
for
has nothing to
almost
do.
2 years.
That has
No,
nothing
no,
to do.
no, no.
Yeah,
What I'm saying is that it wasn't the depression or the sadness or the heaviness wasn't triggered when she died. Only it was something that had been I've been carrying around for quite some time.
so you can
You
also go
know,
back. Yeah, you can go back and see if maybe the end, right? If when she dies, you're not seeing, like, go back 6 months earlier, 2 years earlier, and then move back and go, oh wow, this was like the end of this suffering. I'm telling you, these events, this is where you're going to learn things about astrology. If you want to learn astrology, this is how you learn astrology. You learn astrology by a thorough review of the events that occurred in your life. But you have to have been fully present and be able to walk your way through those events again. Do you understand? That's what's going to help aid you in learning the astrology more quickly, which is, after all, our goal.
right?
I'd,
So
I'd, I'd, I'd hate to think I'm here every Saturday and nobody's learning anything.
no,
Go
no,
ahead.
Anna, you cut out for a second, so there
Yeah.
was probably like 15, 20 seconds I didn't hear.
So
You said you have to go back, and then I didn't
you
hear
have
what
to
you
you
said.
have to go back through these experiences and do a complete personal moral inventory and review a historical review of the experience, like what was going on. Like, okay, so I'll give you an example again. Um, and I mentioned this earlier. My brother, profound loss. So I had called my brother's boss. My brother worked for the biggest private jet company in the world. And my brother, they could have a private jet anywhere in the world in a half an hour. And my brother had developed such a relationship and bond with his boss. I had a relationship with his boss. Because his boss is getting like these $2,000 phone bills. He's like, "What's going on? Who's in Miami? What's my sister?" And do the run through of all of the things. Oh, well, this is what I discussed with my sister. This is where I turned to my sister. This is why I asked my sister. This is where my sister says, "Oh, this is where you get." Like my brother would call me up on very expensive flights. My brother would call me up, and my brother would say, "Oh," and mention a name, and he says, "We're picking wine. What do you think?" And I'd go through a wine list with my brother. So I had a relationship with my brother and a relationship with my brother's boss. So a month before my brother dies, I call my brother's boss and I tell my brother's boss, "Listen, I don't know what they're telling you, but he ain't going to make it, buddy. You better get out there and say your goodbyes." So he flies out there. He's got a bunch of jets. He's a pilot. Flies out there to see my brother. Flies all the way across the country to see him. My brother's like, "Don't listen to my sister. She's nuts. I don't know what's going on with her. She's crazy now. I'm going to be fine. I'll be back at work in a month." 30 days to the day. And Cliff had asked me, how long does he have? I said 30 days. 30 days to the day. The next time he gets a phone call, it's my other brother using my brother's cell phone. He thinks it's my brother Jerry. It's my brother Nick saying, "Cliff, Jerry passed away." Because my brother, my brother had like files in his house for the company. Like my brother was still trying to work while he was sick. So his boss flies 30 days later back across the country again for the funeral. He's at the funeral. He calls me. He says, "Where are you?" I was like, "Cliff, my brother just died. I can't be around my family. That's the last place I need to be." He's like, "Oh my God, I thought I'd see you here." I was like, "No," I said, "but Nick's reading my eulogy. Don't worry about it." That's my experience. Grief, loss, incredible depression, what I went through the day he died, where I was, all of that is something I can recall and remember. If this is not an event that you can accurately recall and remember, this is probably not a good event to do. You want to be able to do something you can pick apart. In fact, every one of you does. This is how you're going to learn the astrology. So if you're like, "Oh, I had a lot going on," or she was sick, but if this is, I got a call, or like I said, if you were estranged, or you were very close, if this impacted your life, if this was
Well,
just
this
one
is
of,
the thing. I mean, yeah, I was in law school in New York at the time, and I was flying back to see her every week, or like I don't know, like 3 months, because I thought she was going to pass away in December, and then in January, and then in February, and so every week I was splitting my time between New York and where my mother was, back and forth, back and forth. It was a very intense time for me. I think I'd made like 15 trips in that period of time. And so, whatever. When you say go back in 6 months, the question is that, like if the funeral is a week after the death, and when you're looking for the half sums and you're looking for the information in the rule book, would I be looking for the triple pattern of the funeral that would be triggered from the death? Or would I be, I mean, like how far
you
out do
need
we
to, this
go?
is, this is your chart. What the hell happened? Greg, you went to law school. You don't know how to pick an event apart? Come on. What happened, bro? What happened? What was going on? It's in your chart. Whatever happened then, that's what you're looking for. Do you understand? Like for me, what happened was overwhelming grief. I went into an incredible depression. In fact, my depression over my brother's death started 6 months before. My boss said to me one day, he was like, "Anna, he's not even dead yet. Get a grip. You're mourning him and he's not even dead yet. Get a grip. 6 months before he died. What happened? This is an event day. I want you to focus on that event day. If you recall that event day and it's like, okay, I got the call. You don't even remember what happened. I
Well,
don't know. I got a call. I got an email. I don't know if I called them.
no, well, the thing is, she slipped into a coma at some point. So it's like I was aware. I was kind of like, it's like after 9/11, we were on code red for years. It's like after a while, everything's code red. That's the problem. I mean, I knew she was going to die. I just didn't know if it was going to be on Monday, on Tuesday, on Wednesday, on Thursday, or Friday. And so that's why it was just such a peak period of time. And I just turned around and I had just seen, been at the house, and then I flew back to New York, and I think I was there a day, and then I flew back. But you were asking for, just I was on overload at the time. It's not that whatever. I have a good memory for that kind of nonsense. It's all just a big blur at that point, and because it's like I knew she was going to pass. The question is when. Everybody was waiting around when's it going to happen? Um, I remember. I probably called. Yeah, I remember calling the day before. Is she still around? Yeah, she's still here. She's still here. Do I need to come home now? Do I need to come back? No, no, no. And then I'm sure I'm the one who called, but I can't say that with certainty. I can't say that with certainty.
Okay, let's see. So we have Moon and Mitos. Here it is in your chart. This is probably actually going to work if you have, as far as your chart and the notification because of the transit and how fast the moon moves. Let me see something. Was Mercury retrograde then? Yeah, Mercury was retrograde.
I'm not seeing. Oh, you're saying because the moon moves so quickly, it would be close to the. No,
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
as far as your information.
Right, but what I'd be looking at because the moon on the outer circle, because it would be near my natal
No,
half
no,
somewhat.
stop, 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 stop. You said that you're using this from the time of death, right?
Yes,
So
yes,
you get a contact. The moon moves 13 almost 13 degrees in a day. So if we're using moon and Mitos, death of the mother, it's a reasonable assumption that at 5:40 someone at the exact moment that she's pronounced dead, someone isn't calling you. That there is a lapse of time between her actual physical death and the phone
yes,
call you receive. So, based
yes,
on that, we can presume that this probably did line up when you actually heard. It's a shame you don't have an email or you don't like. That's why I do Google Voice stuff now. That's why I save everything,
right.
journals,
This was
everything.
1995, though. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just saying they didn't
Oh,
have cell
please.
phones, and
What kind of lawyer are you? Every lawyer I know keeps a freaking journal. I got I got to hear their journal entries. All my lawyer buddies call me up and they're like, "Hey, listen to this. I was reading through my journal. I got to read this to you." I, I swear, I have more people read me their diary. I would never have to go read somebody's journal or diary. They call me and do it for me. Okay, so go back, go check. Maybe you have something somewhere that you just aren't aware of, like in your paperwork. Maybe you wrote something down. You were in law school. You were in law school. What's one of the first things, well, two things that happens in law school, like two things that you do a lot of in law
Reading
school?
and writing.
There you go. So maybe you wrote something down. You know what I mean? For real. Think, it's like really think about it for a second. It's like, yeah, you know what? That's like a habit you get into in law school. You start writing every freaking thing down, right? Maybe somewhere you wrote something down. You got your old stuff?
I don't. I don't.
Ah, damn it, man.
Don't. But I also want to be clear that, okay, because you're saying because the moon moves quickly, so I would have been notified not exactly at the moment of her death, but sometime thereafter.
Yeah.
So are you saying? So where would the lines be?
Well, I'm saying
Basically,
this is in your chart. Your mother died and her exact time of death. Like
yeah.
my mother's exact time of death doesn't show in my chart. It shows slightly later, which is reasonable because she died, we were home, a doctor called. I have a very vivid, I was 7. I have a very,
Wow.
very vivid memory of what happened that evening when we got the call and my mother died. Like I remember where we were sitting at the dinner table. I remember my everything, everything, the conversation, everything. One of the few, memories of my childhood. Anyway, I want you to. I know you had this other event, but I don't think you were really conscious or cognizant of what happened. You were injured. So we can do a lot about your injuries. What we need is we need an event, for your learning ease. What we need from you is an event that had a powerful impact on your life. That like you could do a walkthrough as far as a historical review, you could walk right through and tell that story over and over again. Boom, 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 boom. Do you follow?
Yeah, but
So
like, let's say, for example, you have a thing where you're like, okay, I got a phone call, and then I got in an airplane, and then I did blah blah
it's
blah,
no, no.
whatever.
It's
Like, let's
it's
say you
it's
have
not it's
that
it's not quite like that. Any profound experience is more than just the motor activity that succeeds it. There's the emotional experience to it. There's the effects, whether it changes your family, if there's an inheritance, if there's the theft of an inheritance. When
okay,
my
so
brother,
let's
yeah,
you
when
know,
like when my brother died, I was like, well, wow, I get to stop talking to people right now. Like I was like, oh wow, there is a silver lining here. There's like 6 people in my family I don't ever have to talk to again. Not his wife or kids, but it was just like, oh, I don't even have to talk to these people anymore now.
right? But okay, so if you have something like that, would it still be from, if you're looking at the time, that transit chart, would the time that you would use be the time that you were notified of his death? Because it's not necessarily at that moment
a
that you would
lot of
say, maybe
things,
you did.
a lot of things happen on an event. A lot of things happen as a triple pattern. Like if you had to go to a funeral, You probably had to make travel plans.
Right. Okay.
If
All
you
right. So
had
let's say, for
if you
example,
had to if you had not, for example, this happened. Let's stop with you in the frickin' examples, damn it. This happened. What the hell
say I'm
happened?
a lawyer. Lawyers talk about
No,
hypotheticals.
we're not talking about hypothetical. The lawyers know when some shit happened. You need to be talking about what the hell happened. No examples. don't,
Right.
don't, don't, don't. Hey, let me tell you something. You are playing the wrong game with me if you ever try to lawyer me. All right.
No, no,
and not
Anna,
not out of
I
skill, out of
have.
genetics. I have Italian genes. I can argue forever.
I'm just trying to understand the process here, and
Okay.
the thing is that you say like an inheritance. So let's say I didn't. I got a very very minuscule sum of money when my mother passed away, a few $1,000s. I don't know that that would count that as an inheritance, but I didn't know that I
It
was getting
was
it from the moment that she died.
no. You
Let's
don't
say
have to. Like, stop. It doesn't matter. You didn't listen to the lecture. At the minute something happens, a lot of things are happening. Like from the minute you were born, your mother's date to die was already etched in your chart, in her chart, and everybody's chart around you. That was already there. When your mother died, many things happened. I'm asking you, not for example, I'm asking you, what happened? Go back through the chart. What happened? Her death definitely triggered an inheritance. So whether you got it or not, somewhere the death, there would have to be some death of the mother or death of a family member that day that lines up or triggers or kicks off either a direction or a transit for an inheritance. Not even in a triple pattern, but just as information. Do you understand now? So
yeah,
whatever
because
happened,
that's
yeah, whatever happened that day, at that moment, so you get a call. So it's like, well, probably there are definitely other triple patterns. And if you're examining what happened, you're going to find the other triple patterns. Trust me. That's how it works. If you're sitting there really thinking about what the hell happened, it's like, I don't know what happened, probably not a good event to use.
I'm just not clear on when you're saying, well, because what happened is my mother passed away,
Yes,
and you're
what else
saying,
happened?
okay, I ended up going immediately to the airport and getting a ticket and flying back
Okay, so
to
you
be with
made
her
immediate
family.
travel, you made travel plans
Yes.
right then and there.
Yep.
There should be other triple patterns here. Do a little
But
historic, do a little bit of
the
a.
the question is, so I would still, it would be the same time. I wouldn't,
What
even
about
if it were 3 hours
what
later.
about loss of a family member, grief, sorrow? You didn't look up any of those things, did you?
I would no. I looked up. I have a PDF. I had 260 something citations for death. I was going through them one by one to see if
You
I could
had
find a triple pattern.
99. You had 99.
Well, you have 99. I had more than that. I don't know why, but I there were more when I did the search in my PDF file. I don't know why I had more. In fact, if you want, I'll do the search right here while I'm online with you, and I'll tell you how many I get. But
Well,
I got more than that, and so here
just
I'll
send me
go
a
to.
screenshot.
Okay, got to figure out how the hell I did this because I have Adobe Acrobat, but there is a way for me to. Oh, I have to think under preferences, not under preferences. Was it under preferences? It was a. I did search in a different way in order to do advanced search. That's the one
Oh,
I
I have
did. Okay.
202 actually.
Yeah, exactly. What it was not.
Yeah.
It was not 90 something here. Let me see what I got here.
So it wasn't a sudden
Okay.
death. Like you come down here, if you come down here, there are going to be multiple death things here that line up. Multiple. Because she died. It happened. There's going to be travel. You said you immediately got on a plane. You know how we know that?
Yes.
So there's going to be travel. So we know that it happened. You have to find it. That's what learning the astrology is. Find the triple patterns for that event, for those days. Examine that. Look at the story. Unfold it layer by layer. I'd like to spend more time talking to you guys, but I really have to go today. I have a lot going on, and I have to go pick my son up from the hospital. So he's going to take priority. He's calling me. He's been calling me like, come and get me. He's being released from the hospital. He's been in the hospital
It's fine. Go.
for
It's
four
fine.
days.
I'm sorry about your son. I hope he's okay. And thank you for taking the time. I'm not gonna.
AI and machine learning would be a good tool for this. No, it wouldn't. It'd be a terrible tool. They can't figure out the triple pattern. We've played with AI. And by the way, the person who designed the app, he codes AI. AI can go so far. At the end of the day, you cannot replace this. It's going to be how thorough is the person who's listening or reading or looking at this? How deep are you looking at those planets? AI isn't going to be able to get into the depth of what happened. The native, the individual. That's how you learn the astrology. The astrology isn't something you read. The astrology is something where you're able to say, I had this experience, and the astrology is actually mirroring that experience. That's what you're looking for. You're looking to prove the astrology, not the vagueness, but the specific events and the occurrence. You can answer the questions. AI cannot answer those questions. AI can't tell you what happened. Do you understand that? The way to learn this chart and to learn this astrology is for you to unfold what happened for yourself and see this in these triple patterns. It's there. People have had C-sections and gotten married. All of their events can be proven. But every event has many, many layers. You have to peel back the layers of an onion. Well, the self-examination too, are Rebecca. It's examining what happened. It's sitting and saying this was the experience, the total and complete and full experience. That's what you have to do, and then find it. You know, did you have fights with your family? Was it unpleasant? It was bad news. It wasn't just a message of death. It was terrible news. There are how many layers of this? You have to just simply think. It was there. Did you become suddenly sad?
If you're talking to me, I was already sad. I mean, I've been dealing with this for quite some time. And so, and look, the fallout with my family, we all became estranged eventually, but I don't know that I would look, I think in some respects it was after my mother passed away. It wasn't immediate. It took some time. But she was kind of the glue in the family, and
So
we
maybe
really
that's
felt
in
like each
there.
other.
Maybe that's in there.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
probably
which
it's
is,
probably
would I look to that date and say that even if we
there would
didn't
be there
discuss?
would be indications. There would be many indications. It's up to you to sit there and in your chart what happened. Like your mother died and what else? I was very look, my brother died. I knew I'd been sad. But the last couple of days before he died and when he died, I was absolutely devastated. I had I had an emotional breakdown of profound grief. I was crying so much I couldn't catch my breath. What happened? If you want to learn the astrology, review your life. Review the events of your life. Stop trying to, you're never going to be able to go forward until you understand the past. Until you can nail what the hell happened to you in the past and you understand the events of your past, don't even try to predict what's going on in the future. It's a waste of time. You don't have the skill set. If you can't read your past of big events, how are you going to read the future?
Right. I'm not trying to read the future,
Oh,
Anna.
but you are. Oh, but you are because you posting about these things and these events, and I'm not even going to give you any. I don't have
Okay,
time
that's
for it.
fine.
Yeah, I don't.
That's fine.
Not that I wouldn't help anybody. I would help you guys. I got a lot of time, but I need you guys. If we're even going to entertain any level with any student of looking into something with them that happens in the future, I want to see some triple patterns of your past.
No, the thing to be clear, Anna, what I did post online was something that's a triple pattern that's happening now, and so I'm trying to understand if I can see
No,
something
no, no,
now.
but nope, 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 because
Okay, fine.
you don't know what's happening now. You do know what happened. See, you do know what happened in the past. Do you get it? You're like, I'm
So
trying to understand what happens now. So if I can do this, no, you can't, because I'm not willing to. I'm not doing it. What I do know from experience is go back to an event. You know what happened. Break it apart. It's in your chart. It's there. And the longer you look
amen.
at your chart and the longer you look at your chart that you actually spend following the instructions I'm giving you, it will begin to reveal itself to you.
Okay, well,
You will begin to realize it's like, oh, look at this. And that's lining up to this, and that I traveled, and that's lining up to this. Oh my God. And yes, we had a huge fight. And that lined up to this. Look at that. It's all right there. Believe me, it's there. I've done enough astrology. I've seen enough events. It's there. Okay? I have to let you guys go. All
okay,
right?
Anna.
I will see you guys next week. I will probably be here later on. I will be hanging out, but I do need to go get my son. In fact, we're all going to be here. Nick, Goob, everybody's going to be here in a couple of hours. So we'll see. All right? And thank you very much.
All
And
right.
we will see
Thank you
you.
so much,
Yes,
Anna.
I think we're going to see you in
Thank
two
you.
weeks, by the way. I have a lot of work that needs to be done in my house for real.
Right.
I have
Yes, Anna.
stuff, yeah, I have stuff going on, and we need to start picking apart our old videos and start putting them out there as examples for you guys. Uh, I don't have time for all of these things. So
Yeah,
we'll
it's okay. Don't worry right
yeah,
now. Yeah.
so we'll probably be back here in 2 weeks, but we will be on the server and I will be available to help you, but you guys got to show up and show up in a group, not one at a time. I'm not doing private classes. 5 or 6 of you show up, I'll show up too. Okay? Because the way you're going to learn is by working with each other. And if you're unwilling to work with each other, I'm unwilling to work with all of you individually. See how that works? You want to see me come out and show you something? You want to see the magic? Every single one of you better learn how to work together and do it openly. Because that's what's going to pull Uranian astrology out of the dark, and that's what's going to help each and every one of you become a better astrologer. If you're an astrologer at all. All right, thank you. I'll see you all next week.
Mm.
Bye bye.